Hey, Russell B. here, former psych med magnet and DSM dumpster. I was heavily psychiatrized and medicated, often on a cocktail of psych drugs, between the ages of 11 and 25. Spent 5 years coming off everything with little help from the knuckleheads who put me on them. And I've been getting better and better ever since. But this little story is about a side effect from one of those medications. And to tell it, we got to go all the way back to roughly the year 2007. Now that was kind of a memorable time for a lot of people. It's when we saw the beginnings of the god-awful Great Recession global economic crisis.
Yeah, what the market giveth, the market also taketh away, Katie.
It sure do. Also, very importantly, it's when Tiger Woods' 2008 came out for the Xbox 360, which finally let a then 24-year-old Russell B. put his glassy-eyed face on a video game character.
Wow, that's a long stroke.
But this story really gets going in the bedroom. It was mid to late morning in a strapping Russell B's bedroom. The box fan was giving off some soothing white noise, and the sun was peeking through the closed curtains. The nighttime benzo and antipsychotic and sleeping pill, probably Ambien or Rosarum, were finally wearing off. And the entire inside of my then 400-pound body, a medication-induced weight gain, had become one giant bladder holding all of the night's urine. And so with the combination of all of these things, finally, I woke up. I started to roll over to reach the bedside lamp. And as I started to roll, that's when I felt it. Both arms were completely numb from the elbows down. Just dead weight, may as well have been mannequin arms. Now, of course, I didn't panic. I just figured I'd slept on them and compressed the nerves, and they'd fallen asleep. It happens to everybody, happens all the time. A very common human experience. Now, none of that fit the position that I'd woken up in, but because I was sleepy and full of pee-pee, I was not in the mood to Benoit Blanc it.
Going left. Not go. Oh, Lord.
The simplest explanation was more than fine. So if my arms had fallen asleep, then really the only thing that I could do was just wait it out. I mean, what was I going to do anyway? Start helicoptering my arms and take off? But all I had to do was silence the bladder chatter, endure the arm numbness for a few minutes, then get through that horrible tingling sensation that you get when a limb or limbs are coming back online, and then, in no time at all, surely I would be on my way to a free-flowing urine utopia. And I was really starting to taste it. As I waited for my arms to wake up, I transitioned into a cozy, meditative state, cocooned myself in peaceful, higher vibrations, far out frequencies you don't often feel on the earth plane. This changed me profoundly. Outside the apartment, someone turned on a water spigot, but it was fine. It didn't bother me. No urge to purge. And then through the walls, I heard a neighbor's toilet flush. Boy, I heard it roar. But it was fine. It was okay. It didn't bother me at all. For this is the sort of thing that affected the pee-filled flesh. And I had moved beyond that. I was full of something different now, something better. Bliss had replaced piss. I had reached my personal peak, and now it was time to return to earth, to my apartment bedroom, to my familiar bed, and to the lowly, full body bladder. but I was also returning to something newly able. It was time, finally, to return to my now functional, wide-awake arms that were going to help me rise from that bed like a big old boss, do an enlightened strut to that bathroom, lift that toilet lid and seat, and Lord, oh Lord, let the levee bust. There's just one teeny weeny little problem. My arm still didn't work. Now I'm starting to panic. My sanity is getting a little compromised, which is bad because I need to work through some mental steps. I thought about calling an ambulance or a relative, but that would have been useless and would have just been a recreation of the scene where Mr. Noblet uses a calculator in the TV show Strangers with Candy. I didn't have a roommate, let alone one who could help, and if I had, they would have needed a really strong back or a personal indoor lifting winch. I was a big old boy. So again, welcome to Dead Ends R Us. And because of the size and lack of conditioning from feeling sedated all the time because of the medications, doing a massive sit-up wasn't an option. I wasn't going to be able to launch myself upright from a perfectly still supine position and then scurry off the mattress like my butt had grown some feet. I am really starting to panic. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. But, it was in this fledgling state of falling apart that I got an idea. A sit-up was never going to happen, just out of the question. But what about something a little simpler, a little easier, like twisting, side to side? And if I could keep twisting and build up enough kinetic momentum, then surely the twisting could lead to rolling. And with enough rolling and momentum and self-belief, surely I'd be able to improvise some kind of sudden last-second maneuver that would lead to an epic lifting off from the side of that bed. This is what humans do. We are, if nothing else, flesh factories for ingenuity. And you know what? It was a plan. It was a plan. And now, there was nothing to do but twist, son. So I got started. At first, doing some little baby twists. Side to side, motion is the lotion, gotta lubricate the joints. And then, those baby twists grew up a little. Became toddler twists. Getting a little bigger, showing signs of growing. Then came adolescence, getting bigger, getting stronger. We're on track. And then finally, voila, adulthood. We're all grown up, big and strong, fully capable, ready to leave home and gain independence. It was all there. It was all there. And the time had come for me to shift into a new and liberating form of motion. And oh my God, I was doing it. As I got near the edge of that bed, some kind of ancient instruction set embedded deep in my cellular code was executed. And my body, with no assistance from my mind, rotated 90 degrees, feet jutted out, knees bent, upper torso went up, and forward was the only direction that fate found acceptable for me to go. And y'all, I did it. I was no longer a flaily armed man bound to his bed. I was still flaily armed, but I was free. I was free. And now it was time for the real relief. I started making my way to that bathroom, so proud that if my head had been held any higher, it would have disconnected. Queen's "We Are the Champions" was playing in my mind music. I went down the hall, got to that bathroom door, nudged it open with my shoulder, confidently stepped inside, stood before that toilet, bent down to lift that seat and lid like it's the only thing I'd woken up that day to do. Not a thing else on the agenda. The singular item on Big Russ's calendar. It had all come down to this very moment. This moment right here. And y'all, I couldn't lift it. I couldn't lift it. So that was pretty much the end of that. I also couldn't open the kitchen cabinets, or the refrigerator, or the pill bottles. Couldn't take my meds. I had to go sit in an unreclined recliner until the feeling came back, with arms just kind of dangling there like Ace Ventura's after he got hit by those tranquilizer darts. It took about an hour to get the feeling back. And this happened every single morning for several weeks. It was great. It was a lot of fun. My ex-psychiatrist eventually changed one of the half dozen or so psych drugs I was on at the time. Don't know which one specifically, but it was whichever one had last been adjusted, I think. And I guess that cleared it up. It went away around that time. No idea what the actual problem was. My psychiatrist didn't know either. He gave me the whole, "Oh, that's interesting," routine. No idea. He was unhelpful. Just Captain Clueless. I'm sorry, Dr. Captain Clueless. Anyway, this has been one of my psych drug side effect stories. If you like, feel free to share your own in the comments. I look forward to reading them, and maybe one day I'll share another one of my own. But until next time, this has been Russell B. Y'all take care. Y'all take care. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.